Truth Lounge TV, where powerful conversations are had, black stories are told, and all our voices are heard. Welcome, welcome, welcome back to Truth Lounge TV. This your boy Pierre, as always.
It's your boy Ty.
Truth Lounge TV, where powerful conversations are had, black stories are told, and all our voices are heard. Welcome again. We want to introduce our guest in a minute, but as y'all can see, we had a new setting. We partnered with Soul tonight to do this show based on a couple things that's in our community that are issues that we all can work on, build off of, and just keep your conversation open for everybody to go ahead and get a part of so we can come together. T.Y.?
Well, I know today's episode is the message to the black man. It's the series from Message to the Black Woman. Message to the Black Man today is about fatherhood, therapy, and love. And today we have Kenya Rose. She's a professor, a skater, a dancer, some everything. You know, she got a plethora of skills.
Yeah.
We also have Dr. Bush, author, mental therapist. Excuse me. He's also a community activist. He works with young men, older men. At the end of the show, you can reach out to either one of these. They'll give you their ads, their information. Also an author as well. But we're gonna start with Miss Rose today.
Well,
Introduce myself.
Just tell us a little bit about yourself. You can speak up for the mic a little bit.
Okay.
You gotta
Is
leave
it
me.
me?
You gotta leave me.
Okay. Okay, so my name is Kenya Rose. My former name is Kenya Collins. I went to TSU, got my bachelor's in biology, to get my master's in biomed sciences. I did like some clinical research work, and now I'm a program manager and a professor, and I go to school too. So I do a lot right now. And I am from Memphis, Tennessee, and I've been living in Nashville for about almost 12 years since I went to undergrad here. And it's nice to be here.
We appreciate you.
Dr. Bush, tell us a few things about yourself.
I'm Dr. James Bush. At bachelor's and master's from Argosy University after I dropped out of FU twice at Fisk University. A doctorate in humanitarianism. So, licensed professional counsel in a bunch of states. James Bush, Nashville. You can Google me. It's going to pull right on up. I'm glad to be here.
All right, we appreciate both of you all coming out. Conversation today is pretty much black fatherhood,
Okay?
love, and therapy.
Okay.
Three issues that a lot of us need to deal with in our community.
Definitely.
Pretty much, how do you, this is a question for both of you all. What do you all think about therapy, fatherhood, and love in our community? The situation or the state of it, of all of it right now.
I can say black love specifically. I think it needs a lot of work and nurturing, because I didn't grow up in a home where black love was like flourishing. Like my mom and dad got a divorce like when I was 21, and it was like well due because my dad, he wasn't really faithful to my mom. He really didn't show that example of how to love a black woman, right? And I really didn't see that growing up. But I know, like, from listening to, like, my peers, you know, that are black, and listening to their story about their moms and dad, and seeing, like, you know, the media, how you see black women versus black men. So it's like a lot of issues around, you know, what is black love, right? So I feel like black love, it needs more nourishing, it needs more attention. And especially in our community, in this political climate, we need to be together just as much as we did back in the 1960s, right? So I feel like we need a lot of nurturing right now. Fatherhood, you know, grew up in a broken home, unfortunately, you know, but I still have a relationship with my father. Like during the time where he was raising me, he wasn't like mature enough to be that father that my siblings and I needed. Him and my mom met when they were like teenagers, and I just think my father just wasn't ready to be a father. He was in the streets, you know, trying to sell drugs, you know, trying to be gangster, you know how it is. But he just wasn't like mature enough to stand in that role of being a real father. And it broke me and my siblings in so many ways. And I just can tell, like right now with therapy, I think therapy is needed in the black community, especially in my case, growing up in a broken home. And I can see how the effects of my father not being there affected me as a black woman. So therapy, I feel like it's needed in the Black community, especially coming from a broken home. But yeah, that's my 2 cents.
I like the way that you described him as not mature instead of a bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not a bad man.
Yeah.
He's a
Before we go
genuine
on to Dr. James, I kind of want to piggyback what you were saying about the love being shown. You know, people know that I was formerly married. I was with somebody for 17 years. And when we used to have conflict, sometimes I used to try to tell her, like, hey, this is new to me. Even we was together all alone, but I never saw a man love a woman the correct way. So I didn't know. Like I say, all the people that we grew up watching was saying, fuck of it. You know what I mean? It was, women was treated in a different type of way. So just growing up, you know, just being, you know, just mannish and, you know, not like kind of what you said, save your body and all that. When you're young, you don't know what you're supposed to do. You get out into the world and do things that you're supposed to do. So I kind of want to piggyback on what you were saying about not being, the love being shown. You know,
Yeah.
so yeah.
It really took me some time to know how to date men, right? Because my father, like, he didn't teach me, like, what is the standard of a man I should go after or I should, like, allow to come in my life, right? So it took a lot of trial and error, you know. Thank God I didn't end up with a child. I ended up in an illegitimate marriage from
Right.
it. But it just took a lot of me just, you know, valuing myself, knowing my worth, and also prayer. I'm big on prayer, you know what I mean? And I just feel like a lot of like Black women, they fall into the statistics of just like not knowing how to be in a relationship because of their father not being really in that life. So be the standard of the man they should go after, right? Or that you allow in their life. You know what I mean? But yeah, I
Never
like-
heard
I
it put
like
it in that way from a woman's perspective. You know what I mean? To hear you say that, it's kind of like, yeah, okay, it's good to hear that. You know, because when you think, because a lot of women be like, oh, we're natural nurturers, and you know what I mean? We're emotional beings. You think they think how to cater to a man, but may not. So, Dr. Bush, what you got to say about some of the things that was just mentioned?
So first I want to say to you, it's one of the things that I use, and even clinically, is that a lot of us brothers, we're taught how to read a 4-3, cover 2 defense, 3-4 defense. But to love a woman, we don't know nothing about that.
True.
Because we weren't taught. We weren't given that information. We weren't given those tools and tips. Oh man, you know, where the robbers at, man, where the wingman, where the dump ball passes in the backfield. We got that as playing Pee Wee sports, whether it's football or basketball, but as far as, man, loving our sisters, what they're needing from us, you know, we weren't a lot of times given that information because a lot of things systemically took the families, Black men out of the families. So then that guidance, that model, that teaching, we didn't have. You know,
Latchkey babies, as they call it.
exactly. So sometimes when people say, you know, they get at these like these isms of Black love, I'm like, what is that? What is Black love? I saw, man, my family, I grew up in a single parent household in the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia area. That's for those who don't know. And our love was with my family. Bushel of crabs, you know, eating, talking. Can we curse on this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
can say what you
could,
want.
I mean, basically,
Just whatever you gonna say, just speak up.
oh yeah. I mean, our thing was just like basically sitting around the table, you know, blue bull, small liquor, talking shit. You know,
Right.
that's what we did. You know, that's what's love with us. So, but as far as that interpersonal thing that I saw my grandfather and grandma, I learned as an adult that they had their own challenges. You know, and it wasn't cookie cutter and it wasn't this magical moment or nothing like that. They had things they had to work through. So when we talk about, again, what is Black love now? What is it? You know, it's hard. So then we go to therapy. There weren't a lot of individuals who looked like her or myself that are providing services, you know, back in the 60s and 70s and 80s. So one of my clients told me something very pivotal. He said, look, I'm not going to my oppressor and telling him my issues and my challenges. I understand that. Where do you have or feel safe having those type of conversations that are vulnerable, that I can actually make an impact on your life?
Right.
If I can't trust you, why am I going to talk to you?
Hey, I'm definitely gonna get to you
So
on that.
I mean, those are the things that, again, when it comes to men and therapy. Now, granted, my practice is filled with brothers and, you know, younger brothers who are just asking. But again, it's the low hanging fruit because I'm a Black guy, so it's
Right.
gonna be like that.
Right.
But men are coming to therapy, you know, and so let's kind of denounce that idea right there. What was the third one we were talking about?
Love there.
Fatherhood. What the 70s do? The 70s, no fault divorce was ratified in California. What did that do? You didn't have to wait as long to get divorced. We had birth control that was pretty much invented in what, the 60s or 70s or whatnot. So it gave women more autonomy in Planned Parenthood as well. We saw a lot of displaced families. What we used to think was normal became abnormal right now.
Yeah, yeah. I think like my generation growing up, not having a lot of our fathers around, I see a lot of my friends. I'm 40, so I see a lot of people between the age of 30 to 40 trying to be there for their kids because of the absence of their father.
What they didn't see, right?
Yeah, but it's still a little weird because it's still the conflict of being with somebody and still trying to have that family dynamic when most stuff they grow up with the family dynamic, so still trying to learn what she wants. Like I say, love languages, needs, wants. How to figure it out, but also getting your needs and wants met.
So I got a question for you and a question for you. But first you. All right. I think we've done quite a few shows.
Right.
She was on one of the shows once where we talked about therapy.
Right.
I'm a 50-50 person on therapy.
Okay.
I've done some therapy as a child, as an adult, couples therapy.
Right.
None of it worked.
Okay.
Now I've had pieces of therapy that did open my eyes to different things, give me a better way to look at a direction and what I need to do for myself.
Right.
So a lot of people think I don't believe in therapy, but I know therapy works for some. Therapy, it doesn't work for everybody.
Right.
What do you say to men that don't believe in therapy? Because there's a lot of men in our community that look at it like it's soft.
Right.
It's weak. I don't want to go tell somebody I don't know my story.
Right.
What do you say to them? How do you get them to come to therapy or accept therapy? And what would you tell a man that doesn't want therapy, or what type of tools would you give him?
Well, I think, man, whatever works for you works for you. It's all about the outcomes. So then if you're having challenges communicating with your children or communicating with your significant other, and you don't go and seek those tools, now, partner, that's on you. Again, when it comes back to football, man, again, playing wide out receiver, if I'm getting jammed on the line, I may need a coach. I may somebody instrumental in my life to help me. Hey, look, man, chop block, man, do something. Just get away from it. Get off the line. Do something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a tool, or a technique, or a skill, right? It's a simple concept like that. If you are having issues or challenges, let's find some other way to get past that. But if you're too prideful, you and your ego, or sometimes, man, you just, man, don't know any better.
Pride to kill a man.
You're gonna be in the same space that you was a long time. We have financial advisors. We have all these different helps and systems that are put up to help us get to where we need to be. But when it comes to this mental, especially a lot of the things that we went through since we got on this rock as being African Americans, epigenetics, as in, the altered impression of genes that passes from generation to generation to generation. So stuff that your ancestors felt and went through, you feeling it yourself now? And we ain't sitting on somebody's couch talking about that? I'm serious though. But again, if you got it all together, then man, kudos to you. I'm not saying you might not. But for me, I go talk to somebody. Because after talking to all of y'all,
Therapists go talk to a therapist.
oh, I go talk to somebody. My homeboy in Memphis. What's up? Shout out to you, Tim. But I mean, it's just, hey, look, when I need to get some off my chest. I need to get some things out of my way. Because we still go through things as well in our own personal lives as well. We still got kids. We still date out here, We still out here, trying to, got parents. Sometimes they transition while you're in the middle of doing your thing of helping everyone.
Yeah.
So that's a real space.
So I saw a video today. A therapist was talking with a guy. She had 5 cups. Had a cup that said you, family, something new like working out, a hobby, friends, and work. And then she took the cup from you, started pouring it into family. After you did all that, it's not enough for you. So, that part, I think that's what kind of put the impression on us, like, can I make it? You know what I mean? And like I say, getting help, it worked. You know what I mean? I fought it for a while. You know what I mean? Like I say, I've probably been doing it for probably about 3 to 5 years on and off. You know what I mean? But it's just finding the right person too, just to give you the right tools. Like I said, you go in there and talk to somebody. Like one of the therapists I went in and talked, it's like, she ain't giving me no homework. You just listening to me. You going back to your husband and I'm talking. But I need some tools. Give me a coloring book or something. Something. Yeah.
I had I'm gonna get to you in one second. I had a conversation with you about I got sick.
Yeah.
And it was just out of nowhere. The nurse just told me, she was talking to me and she was like, black lady. And she was talking to me, and she was like, "Well," I told her I don't usually get sick,
Right.
and so she was like, "What do you do for a living?" And I told her I work like 4 jobs, with podcasts, spend time with my little girl. She say it's this term that's in psychology, and you told me you never heard of it, which
Right.
is John Henryism.
Right.
And then I looked it up.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much like everybody knows the story of John Henry.
Right. Right.
He just wanted to work. He just wanted to build a railroad.
Right.
All he wanted to do was build a railroad, build a railroad. And he pretty much worked himself to death for somebody else.
Yeah.
And pretty much, I had a conversation with T.Y. and I was explaining to him, I don't really think I need therapy. I probably
Right.
do. I probably need therapy because I don't think need therapy. But what I do, I put a lot of stuff in the way.
Okay.
I got issues just like everybody else. I'm human.
We all do.
But what I do, I put a lot of stuff in the way with work, something to keep me busy, and when and it keeps my mind off of my issues, and eventually those issues dwindle out.
Right.
But from what I read about John Henryism, it's also it can also kill. It can cause heart failure. You overworking yourself, different ailments with your body. But I'm trying to figure out what's another technique or tactic I could use.
You can
That's it.
meditate.
Yeah.
I do meditate. When I got single, I got more into Islam.
Okay.
And when I started praying more, that helped with a lot of the stresses that I had. Because last time you was on the show, you asked me what's my triggers, how do I deal with triggers? And that's pretty much how I deal with triggers. I put stuff in the way of it.
It's a
And
term in therapy, though, right?
Yeah.
Keeping yourself busy. What is it called? It's really a term where you keep yourself busy. You know what I mean?
From overcompensating.
Yeah, I forgot what the term actually called.
Overcompensating for other different matters. You know. One thing I would say to you, we can do as far as meditation, but another thing is set boundaries. Set clear boundaries on what you want your life to be like. You know? What do you want your Mondays and your Tuesdays and your Wednesdays and your Saturdays to look like? You know, put the boundaries in motion. You know, set short-term goals.
And I agree, because I got those.
Right, and so-
I've done that. And that's why I think I'm maintaining. But I'm just, like I said, I'm human. I
Right.
have breaking moments just like
Right.
everybody else. But I told T.Y., my breaking moment only lasts until tomorrow because I got something to do.
Okay. Okay. And so that's the thing is that, man, you know, when you have those breaking moments, being cognizant, aware of what are the triggers that precipitate that breaking moment. You know, what is happening in your life? What is, you know, some of the feelings and the emotions that you're taking? And then what also helps you get back, refocus, and back on track. You know, knowing those things. I call it taking the journey of you. A lot of us, man, we know a lot about a little, but we don't know a lot about us. And so you got to take the journey of you. You got to start looking within and just say, okay, who am I? What do I like? You know, what makes me me? And it's going to be different sometimes from person to person, but you got to accept that though, because that's what shows you the blueprint and the cheat code that's saying, okay, when I'm off, this is what I need to do. Whether it's go to Baskin Robbins, whether it's go to the gym, or whether it's just, man, go sit and do whatever it is you do. You know, you got to find that out about you. And that's a lot of times something a therapist can't give you. He can take that journey, but man, he can't give you that. You do that.
Another thing I told T.Y., and I want you to tell us how can a person diagnose their triggers? I spent 14 and a half years of my life in prison
Okay.
on 3 different bids. I did 3.5 years, 2.5 years, then I did 8 years and 9 months.
Right.
In the feds. That time to myself helped me get to know me a whole
Right.
lot better. So, like I told him, I could be wrong with self-diagnosing myself the way I do, but it works for me.
Okay.
Like you said, you know, what works for you works for you. Well, it may not work for somebody else.
Right.
And on the outside, people will see that and say, okay, well, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
But I'm progressing. Everybody has sad moments.
Yeah.
Everybody you're gonna go through happy times, good times, bad times.
Right.
It's how you come out on the back end of all of them. I come out on the back end better than I did when I dealt with it.
Right.
So, but how would you help other men and women diagnose their trigger so they know I need to come to therapy?
I think one of the things is you got to ask yourself, what do you have the propensity and the tendency to fall into? Like, for instance, if you know you come out of bad relationships and then all of a sudden you got this one person, you know, this slinkly, this side piece and a biscuit that you always call or whatnot, what does that mean? that's something, man, and it's catastrophic because it's not leading you to favorable outcomes. Or maybe you're just using that person as somebody to get along or to get over something. You know,
Keep them people in your life. Yeah.
I'm not going there with you on that.
Yeah, that's how that's how I get over it. I keep something on the side.
I mean, I'm not going there with you on that one. But again, what are your tendencies? What are the things that you are most geared to do in different situations of your life? If you are severely depressed and you just want to eat, but man, you would go to the gym at least 3 or 4 times a week or whatnot, then man, that's some issue. If you got a retail therapy, you go and you spend, or anything like that. You don't ever save no more money because again, your mentals is all kind of convoluted at that time. You need to look at that. Or if Sunday night football come on, hey man, I'm bored, man. Man, we're FanDuel at. Well, they ain't paying us, but look up place you up, then all of a sudden you done racked up man a $3,000-4,000 bill. You gotta look at man the things you're doing, what your tendencies are.
If you're going backwards,
If you losing money, yeah.
I feel you
All
on
of a
that.
sudden, man, you had a 6-pack, now you got a 12-pack. Come on, man, or 8-pack.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, yo.
All right. But Miss Rose, I wanted to ask you from a woman's perspective, therapy and fatherhood and love. When it comes to like fatherhood or you choosing a mate, do you look for a man that's a good father, that's mentally stable as well? Or how would you go about that? Because a lot of women do choose bad, just like a lot of men choose bad, and that's how they get in some of these toxic situations.
Just chose that ass.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm always choosing that, and that's why I stay in the situation I'm in. But from a woman, how do y'all go about picking a good man? Do y'all look for him to have certain traits like father, good lover, good provider? I know all of that plays a part, but.
So whatever my father wasn't, that's what I look for, right? My father wasn't a provider. He wasn't a nurturer. He wasn't emotionally intelligent. He wasn't nice. You know what I mean? He was very rough. You know, so that's what I look for in a man, the opposite of my father, because I've been primed as a little girl that, oh, my father is not good. You know, my grandfather told me, hustle for yourself, don't depend on a man. They actually embedded in me to be dominant. They wanted me to be over ambitious. They told me, never depend on a man. And it took me some time as an adult to learn how to submit to a man, because all my life I've been told how to be kind of like a man, right? Because my father wasn't that man for me, right? So, like, whatever my father wasn't, that's how I, look for, like, my significant other, whatever. And surprisingly, African men, they fit that, right? Because African men, they're providers. Most of them, I'm not gonna say all, most of them, they'll take care of their children. They won't abandon their kids, right? And I'm telling you, everywhere that I look, whether it's my peers or whether it's like people on social media, I wouldn't see when a woman gets pregnant, I wouldn't see like her boyfriend or husband with her, right? Black woman, right? It would prime my mind into thinking, okay, if I get pregnant by an African American, he's gonna leave me. That was like my mindset, right? Growing up, because even like my grandparents, they just pride me to be like, don't depend on a man. Your father is like the example of what man not to go after. So whatever my father wasn't, that was like the standard for me, right? But over time, I learned to not generalize men, especially like black men, and also just be open-minded that everybody's not the same. But what was the second part of your question?
Oh no, you answered all of the questions. I just think that she's an advocate for African men, so y'all already know that.
No, I love all men.
She loves all men, but she's advocating
younger woman that loves all
advocating if they come from the motherland.
Whatever they come from, I'm open to it. If they know how to take care of a woman, if they're providers, nurturing men, emotionally intelligent, even African men, they're not emotionally intelligent at all, right? So
Yeah, because I met a few that
Well, I was told by an American woman, she said, getting the treatment that they get from us African American
They
men.
tricks.
Hold on. So when they get with an African, he possessive, he this, so they think that's love. Oh, I love you, baby. Come back. I did it. They think it's love, but he also
They
gonna slap
gonna
your
spend
ass.
that checkbook too.
You can't say, oh, African men are abusive.
No, I ain't gonna say that. I'm
No,
just-
they're just aggressive.
That it's like they're very dominant, like alpha men, right?
Yeah.
You know, but all of
That's what you
them
said.
aren't like that close-minded. Maybe you're talking about the traditional African man.
Pretty
but
much,
like for
yeah.
me, I like an Americanized African man,
Okay.
a
Western-
modernized.
Western-
Okay.
Yeah,
Got some
because I
mics on.
did date like a traditional.
So you like a mixture of both cultures in
Yeah, he got to connect to me.
Now, have you ever
Try-
dated?
try- try-
Have you ever
try-
dated outside the race, like Latinos, white?
Well, they came to me, but I just
Not your flavor.
I do. I like them,
Okay.
but I haven't like really dated
Okay.
them.
Okay.
Like I had like 3 relationships. One, my first relationship was a Nigerian man.
Okay.
I was smitten by that. Second one was African American, and the third one was African. So, yeah,
Like I said, she's advocating for the motherland.
not even. I mean,
I'm just
it's,
messing with you.
I know it's just. I don't know. That's just what.
No, but I understand because I work in the club. I do security at a African Afro Beats after hours,
Okay.
and I watch these men on the regular. They are very aggressive.
You
But
talking about Africans?
well,
in the club?
I'm speaking. I'm gonna put it in context.
Okay.
I'm not seeing them in everyday life.
Exactly.
I'm seeing them thirsty.
You
Just like I've seen American black men thirsty. I know some good men in regular life. If they get in that club, all they see is ass and titties. And they're aggressive. They gonna spend the checkbook. They gonna do what they gotta do to get your
Right.
attention.
Right.
Dr. Bush, what do you think about the dating part of, well, fatherhood is men and women getting together, and when the fatherhood part where a lot of men are suffering in the co-parenting situation, and the in-house parenting situation, because like I understand with what she's saying with the difference in cultures, but over here, what do you think about what's going on with us as black men?
I think, man, it's a mess right now. I mean, because of the legal system and how it has sometimes put one gender against another, unfortunately, when it comes to rights, support, parenting plans, those things. Then also, too, it goes along with that, you got 2 people that were maybe, whether they was in love, whether they was in lust, whatnot, they probably need some healing from the whole overall experience, and they never got it. They never sought out any guidance on, okay, how do we need to govern this? You know, what do we need to do? As opposed to we're bickering, we're sending nasty and mean text messages, we're drawing each other back and forth to court, we're spending money that we ain't got to give the lawyers who just, man, sit back and just watch us, man, and just, man, lick their chops because I'm about to send my kid to college off of what I'm about to earn off of you. You know, those are some things that we as a culture have to do a better job of. You know? And again, it's not about the finger pointing. It's not about, man, well, women are doing this, and it's about what men are doing that. But it's about how you can show up better in those relationships for your children, because your children are watching these things. And again, a lot of the stuff that we saw within the 80s and the 90s, with, man, the crack epidemic and 3 strikes and whatnot, it could be even worse because now we got parents who are neglectful. And now some of the kids don't even want to have children or don't even want to try marriage because of what they saw their parents do.
And just like she said, your mother told you be independent from a man.
My grandma, my granddad, my
But
mama.
I think that has passed down from the 80s now to now, has really hurt relationships,
Oh, yeah.
love, and the black community. Because it's like you teach your son to
Church.
treat a woman nice,
Right?
be quarter, open the doors for her. But you got the little girl being taught, fuck him. Go get it on your own. You don't need him to open that door. You don't
But,
need him to pay
know,
your bill.
Black culture teaches the black man to disrespect the woman.
But we don't teach our sons that in the house. culture, society, social media teaches them that. TV.
Yes, but you can't say all black fathers teach their sons like the correct
Well,
way.
I'm not even saying black fathers. I'm saying mothers, because in this day and time, most households are just single mothers raising these boys and raising these little girls, and so they're raising two people against each other without subconsciously knowing that that's what they're doing.
How? You go
Because I'm
just
telling my
said it,
son
yeah.
to do one thing, but I'm telling my daughter to be totally opposite of what I'm telling my son to give me.
So the son, what do you teach your son?
Most women are teaching their son to be
Open the door.
nice to a woman.
Be nice. Be
All
all
of
that.
it. But
Yeah.
you're telling the woman, your daughter, to be independent. You don't need him. So why am I gonna open the door for you if you don't need me? Why am I gonna take care of you if you talk to me and y'all growing up? Women are growing up in these days and times saying, I don't need a man, I'm a boss chick. I done leveled up. And they looking down on the men because they may not have been able to take advantage of some of the opportunities that the government and that society has set out here that has unleveled the playing field between both of us.
It's just the standard of what's not been seen in the household again with the father not being there. And
But that's not every household where father's not there. Because I know men that had and women that had their mother and father in the house,
Right
and
there.
both of them are. The daughter done grew up. She has a nasty attitude. The son done grew up, and he's soft.
maybe that goes with their parenting skills. Not everybody have good parenting skills, and they can go back into therapy. Maybe they should have sought out therapy to actually
I feel you on
identify those situations. But yeah,
Well, you got something to say?
No, just piggyback what she was saying. It's like sometimes you see guys who they grew up in houses where they watch their mom emasculate their father. And sometimes those messages to go to like, man, I ain't gonna never let no chick talk to me like he's talking to my dad, you know. Or man, you see a son, man, he watches his dad treat his mom horribly, you know,
Yeah.
talk down to her, talk crazy to her, and you know, just very verbally abusive or whatnot. He makes up his mind, but I'm not gonna treat my women like that. Or maybe this is how it's supposed to be done, you know, because again, you know, children are like sponges. Their brains, you know, they're soaking up in those images, those ideas, those sayings, and things like that of what they're hearing on a daily basis.
So it's not society; it's a learned behavior.
Sometimes it's learned behavior.
Definitely learn behavior.
I got you.
And I always tell you one of my favorite lines in the movie Boys in the Hood. What'd he say? Damn, what she say? Damn, can we eat? He say, damn, let the bitches eat. Damn, we gotta be bitches. Hoes gotta eat too. So when you grow up in that's all you hear. I'm sorry. So, you know, and it goes back to kind of what she was saying. Like, you know, the dichotomy of what you was taught. Man, fuck a bitch. Da, 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 da.
But
Shit,
see, I
growing up,
wasn't
listen
taught
to
that, and I've always I was taught to treat a woman nice. I grew up around all women. I was pretty much the only man in the house, or boy in the house. I grew up around all women, aunties, cousins was female, my grandmother, and I was always taught to treat a woman nice.
Right.
I think I'm a pretty nice guy, but I can't keep a woman for shit.
have you identified why?
Huh?
Have you identified why?
Because all of them ain't worth keeping.
Damn.
Maybe you should go to therapy and figure it out.
No, they need to go to therapy and figure it out.
Maybe they are. Maybe you need to. Worry about yourself.
I'm not.
I'm saying you want to know why.
No, I don't want to know why. I just want, as far as I'm concerned, as I don't have an issue with. I never had a problem getting a woman. Now it's just when I get in a relationship, things seem that the woman ain't never. I asked somebody this the other day, and this is relating to that. With mental health, right?
Uh-huh.
And y'all might not like this question. A lot of women don't like this.
Okay.
But you want a man to show up every day as himself. We don't dress up, we don't put makeup on, we don't put all this hair on, eyeliner to look good to get validation. But women won't go outside without doing this. And I asked the therapist, is this a mental health issue? Could this be considered a mental health issue? If I wake up every day and I gotta look at this and don't add to it, and I gotta be happy with what I see in the mirror, why shouldn't a woman do that and present herself to me knowing? But you want a man to show up for you and be a provider, be all of this, but you putting on a mask every day for me to do that for.
But you can say that you can attest to our women doing it.
But that's the truth. That's a fact. Y'all say y'all doing it
But
for
you gotta
yourself.
understand.
Y'all doing all this body shaping, this adding this everything to
You gotta
yourself.
understand societal
I just want to know if it's that
You
could that be
understand?
considered
And that's
a
man. I
mental
would say
health problem.
the male population has a big role in this. Societal pressures of women wanting to look like the standard in society of how to be attractive. Because you know, standards in America of what is attractive changes. It used to be you have to look skinny like a stick to be desirable. Now you got to look thick to be desirable. And it's all about standards, like what men want, right? What it is to be attractive. Women are under a lot of pressure of, okay, I gotta look my best here. Because I saw on like Instagram and social media that a woman showed up like in her natural state. She ain't had no weave.
So
in her
men
hair.
aren't under pressure.
Now let me talk
Y'all
about
want somebody
women.
to come in and pay all the bills.
Wait, I'm talking about the woman, right? We're gonna talk about
Okay,
the man.
I'm
You
gonna
wanna
listen
know
to the
woman's
woman.
side of things?
I really didn't want to know the woman's side, but I want to know your
You,
side.
what? I'm a woman.
Okay. No, I mean I want to know. Don't misunderstand me. I understand what you're saying. I wanted to know. See, you're saying that I shouldn't look at it the way I'm looking at it, right?
No, you're justifying what you think, right?
No, I'm justifying what I see, not what I think.
What you see
Because
is what.
I show up every day like this.
Okay, do you want your woman to dress like that every day?
No, she ain't got to dress. I want my woman to look good,
How?
but I want my woman to have the mental capacity to understand that I like you. So you don't have to do all of this just to get me. You shouldn't have. Well, first of all, you shouldn't have to. No woman should have to do all this extra stuff to get a man. Just like I shouldn't have to do a whole lot of stuff. I shouldn't have to come in. In these days and time, men have to leave with their money to get a woman most of the time.
Leave.
Yes, a lot of men do leave with their money. You telling me
That's just how it is.
that's just how it is.
Yeah.
But that, just like you say, women are under so much pressure. Men are under so much pressure because y'all want to provide or protect it. You want when a motherfucker kick in that door, you want me to run to the bullet, and you run out the back door and live. So it's a difference. You can't say just because I'm under all this pressure to look good. No, you're not under
No, I'm
pressure.
telling you about like why women do it, right? You have your different pressures as a man, and a woman has her different pressures as a woman, right?
But
So
what's the pressure? Who pressuring you?
I just said
Society.
Yeah, and also what men like
I don't believe
what they
that.
want. So let me ask you this: the women you dated, what do they look like?
Ugly.
What is ugly, bro? Ugly as in.
I chose women that were natural
So
instead
now,
of choosing women that was gonna do all this extra stuff.
so natural is ugly.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
So what does that
I chose.
mean? You're
What
being-
I'm saying is, I dealt with pretty women, average women, and
Some boogers.
some boogers. When I was younger, I didn't care. As long as you was gonna do what I told you to do, when I told you to do it, how I was told you to do it, I was cool with it. Now that I'm a growner and more mature, I want a wife. But now, in these days and time, I'm scared of putting myself in a situation with a woman because it's so much that y'all have accepted from society. Y'all don't want to accept me as a man as I come, but you want me to accept you as you gonna show up.
When you say y'all, like,
Well, I'm not putting you in a box.
No, I'm trying to.
I'm saying women.
You got to be more detailed so I can like be able to like reply to you. You said y'all. We do
Which I said,
y'all.
I'm saying women.
Okay.
Women don't accept men. And women, this day and time, we're not talking about like in the 60s, a man was held to a black man in our community was held to a different standard. They was looked at differently. They were dealt with differently. They went through more pressure than we go through now. They was actually on the front lines of trying to make changes for where we are today. Women knew their roles. And I'm not saying everybody has a role or that's what it should be. It should be whatever you need it to be to fit your situation. But women now they feel like, my perception, women now are part of the problem with fatherhood in the black community instead of being part of the solution. Women now are part of the problem with love in the black community instead of being part of the solution. I'm not saying all. There's some good women out here. There's some good mothers out here. But y'all are ending marriages. Not the black man. Y'all walking out of
It's
marriages.
a domino effect. You just can't just say.
Well, I think men don't have the courage to
Women.
leave.
Huh?
I think some men don't have the courage to leave. I've come to realize that shit. So-
What's that saying? A man will, I forget the saying. He'll do anything to keep his family. A woman will do anything to get out of the relationship. She'll destroy her family thinking it's something better.
Why do you think that?
I don't think I say that's the same.
The same from who?
I've heard it. I don't know who
From your
coined
family?
it. No, I've seen it on
Friends?
social media.
The media.
I've seen it. I've heard other men say it. I've heard other women say it.
The media.
I've heard other doctors say it.
I feel like the media is the number one reason why this society is divided and have corrupted mindsets, right?
Definitely.
So you got to understand. Let's talk about the black family. What period, like from like the 1940s up to now, the black family was broken?
After the 60s.
Why you think that?
Drugs.
Huh?
Why do you
Drugs.
think that?
Pimping, drugs, hoes.
No, let's be logical.
Because
with
you
it.
got to understand, it was always a plan to tear the black family up from day
So,
one.
okay, you said
this
that
was
it
the
was the
1800s.
plan. So what was the plan?
What was the plan
You
to
said-
destroy the black family?
So who perpetuated that plan?
The
What perpetuated?
powers that be.
What are
And I'm not
the
going to say
powers
who
that
they are,
be?
the government.
Okay, so that was the start of the issue.
Right.
You understand?
But in the same plan, they created the issue where I'm going to elevate a black woman and keep the black man down because I'm not scared of you taking my job. I'm scared of him taking my job. So as a black woman, you are a double minority where you can apply for certain grants. I can't get that same grant because I don't have the same opportunity you have.
Why do you
But
think they don't
most of
want
these
the
major
black
colleges,
women
most of these major colleges are
You know why the
giving out
union was
scholarships
created,
to
right?
more black women than they
You know
are
why
black
the
men.
union was created, right? Because after slavery ended, who knew how to do everything? So they
Black
created the union so they can keep them jobs. Because we knew we was the one that was building everything. We was the one creating everything, building. So if he can't get a job because of his skills, my skills, we got to create a union to keep them out.
The
So,
plan was
I mean,
never. The
yeah,
plan
that's
was
right.
to marginalize the black woman, but keep the black man down. We just don't want. They didn't. They was never in fear of the black woman. That's why you was able to take care of their kids in slavery. That's why you was able to raise. You wasn't the person that they thought was gonna rise up and kill them or stand up against them. See what I'm saying? They watched you, watch your man or watch your men get destroyed by them. So they wasn't worried about you. And in time, as time grew, the plan has to change. Everything evolves. So the plan evolved, okay, how do we destroy the black man? Elevate the black woman. Because they can't do it on their own. They definitely need help from inside.
So I can attest to that. Black men, y'all have the power.
We do.
And it's sad to see a lot of young corrupted black men and what they evolve to be. So the reason why society wants to tear down the black man is because they know that you guys are going to lead, you guys are going to elevate the race. And the thing is, black love is so important because when you see Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King, you see power. Look at what they have done for a whole race. You understand? So I always tell black men, even my
Don't do
siblings,
it.
Don't do
y'all
it, baby.
don't do what?
Don't do it.
Don't do what?
Okay, I ain't gonna do it.
What?
You brought up the most passive nigga I ever heard.
Oh, look.
I don't
But he's
have-
just
I'm
like an
saying.
example.
He said at the end. He said at the end that he regretted what he did to his people.
Say don't do it.
Did he not say that at the end? Because he misled his people.
Oh,
If you teach me to be passive and accept somebody doing something to me, where are you teaching me to fight?
That's a different story.
Where are you teaching me to stand up? You teaching me to take somebody a beat and tell them I'm gonna overcome.
Okay.
That's why he said. That's why he said don't do it.
But you know
I
what
don't put him
you
on the
know
pedestal.
my point.
I understand what you're saying.
I'm saying, even for me as a black woman, a black man will always be my number one choice. But the
Okay.
exceptional black man, not the stereotype. You
Okay.
understand? And for me, I see a lot of stereotypes, from middle school, high school. I went to a HBCU. You know what I mean? But the exceptional black man, that is I feel like that's every black woman's number one choice. You know, black women don't like to really venture out of their races. They choose black men to, as their first choice, right? Because maybe for me, I didn't see, the exceptional black man growing up. My father was an exception. He was a standard, right? So I feel like every black woman, I won't say every, but some black women desire to have that exceptional black man as a husband, right? So that's why when black men, I say, they need to become leaders. They need to pour into themselves more so they be able to lead a race. Because you guys know y'all presence, it shakes the room, you know, like your confidence, your talents, especially and you're educated, right? And also you bring more to the table. It's like it shakes the foundation, you know what I mean? And us being united as like Black Love being united, I feel like we can move forward as a race because we teach our children how to love each other. We teach our children how to love their fellow Black peers, their fellow Black, you know, mates and everything, and that builds a foundation of people. So yes, the government sees that, okay, let's break up the Black family. When you break up the Black family, you break up a race, you know?
That's true.
So you just got to understand like the root of the issue and know a solution how to push forward, right? So
What do you think, Dr. Bush?
Man, I don't disagree with anything she said. I truly believe, man, that African American males are some of the most dangerous individuals on this planet.
Definitely.
Because when we get together and we unite and we collaborate and we do the things that we can do, we already got $1 trillion in buying power in this country. You know, being oppressed as we are.
We spend more than some small countries.
Exactly. Imagine what would happen if we just our mentalities would change as opposed to being
man,
so
y'all be so
divisive
powerful, man.
against
Like,
one
it's
another.
just
But
crazy.
it would be.
It's
It
so crazy.
really would be.
Yeah.
I think one of the things is that sometimes we want to have to do our own homework. A lot of times when we look at what social media perpetuates and it tells us, man, how relationships are. I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of times, what I see on the couch when it comes to couples is nothing what they put on social media.
Yeah,
Trust me, I
definitely,
understand.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Nothing.
feel it.
I ain't never had somebody come in my office talk about 50-50. Nah. I ain't never heard of that.
I never.
Now granted, I have heard somebody come in my office and say, man, hey James, my husband, he likes chicks with, you know.
Okay.
What do I do about that? And it's like, lady, you got a real problem right
I
here.
didn't catch that, huh, Pete?
I caught it, but I'm like,
I'm trying. Look, I want to come back.
No, I
on that,
understand,
man.
I understand.
So my point being is that there are other deeper issues that are going on in our households. Like for instance, combining a nuclear family. You know what it looks like when you bring your 3 kids and he bring his 3 kids, and then it's like y'all got to make it work. And then you got the other significant others on the outskirts, and they kind of wreaking hell and havoc and all. That's a real issue. That's a real challenge, and that's what some people are experiencing and going through right now. As far as that, but as far as a lot of the other stuff that I ain't never seen none of that kind of thing.
Yeah,
We
it's
work
fake.
on
It's all
communication
fake.
skills. Yeah.
It's all fake. That social media will ruin your train of thought plus ruin your relationship.
That's what it's there for.
You sitting there just looking like, oh, my man ain't never did this, or my girl ain't never did this, and now you coming at her about something she never even did or even thought about doing, and now y'all got to come.
that's why you got to pick up a book or a few books.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, on that, what's your book about?
I have a book of affirmations, 365 Men Inspiring Men, and it's just things that I've seen from 10 years being on the couch that I plugged in with, whether it's substance abuse, whether it's self-esteem, whether it's building, setting goals or whatnot. And I had a collection of brothers. We all just submitted passages into that for 365 days of the year, and so that's when the volume 1 is out. And we're gonna redo it and do another volume, and it coming soon. And we're excited about
So
it.
where you
because-
find the book at?
You can find it on Barnes & Noble as well as Amazon.
Oh,
Go
okay.
get that book. Go get that
No
book.
Audible yet? No Audible.
Not Audible yet,
Okay,
but it's coming. It's coming.
all
For
right.
Affirmation.
the Men Inspiring Men. You know, 365 days of affirmations. And so it's published by Let's Have Manversation. So yeah, that's what.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
We're gonna take a small intermission real quick. Just give us a second, and we're gonna get back with y'all.
Yeah, because I think I done made Kenya mad at me.
You're not